Well, hello. Thanks for coming back to check out another video. I have very naked eyes. I feel like it's always a little weird when you see someone all the time with like eyeshadow on and then you see them with no eyeshadow on. But since I have very naked eyes, hopefully it is apparent to you guys, we will be doing an eyeshadow look today. I thought it would be fun to sit down, keeping with the spooky theme since we're in October, to play around with the Unearthly Cosmetics Lore Palette. I just feel like this is, a good palette. It's a good fall palette, a good all year round palette, but to me it kind of fits the spooky theme. So I will give you like a close-up overview and some swatches of this palette. It has really nice like shifty shades, like the pink shades in here. They're two of the top shimmers within the palette. They really call to me like every single time. So not only are we going to do an eye look with this, but I just thought it would be kind of fun to do like a little bit of like a get ready with me, like a chatty like life update. Just clue you guys in to some things that are happening behind the scenes that might impact a filming schedule and upload schedule. Get your opinions on different things and, just go from there. So I hope that all sounds interesting to you guys. I am going to zoom us in, get some brushes together and things like that. And we are going to do one eye look with the Lore palette. Okay, so we are zoomed in nice and personal to do an eye look together. I did turn down the ring light just a little bit because I felt a tad bit washed out. So hopefully it looks a little bit better. I think this is going to be less of like a tutorial style eye look and more of just like a chatty get ready with me, but I will let you guys know like what I'm doing as we do this eye look. So I did take my Rephr 15 brush, which is just a great fluffy brush, and I dipped that into the shade Faun, which is like the lighter of the oranges. It's more yellow. It does have a little bit of glitter in it, but I want to do a halo eye, and so for me, one of the ways that I feel like very successful with halo eyes is to kind of start with a very light wash of color that we're basically going to cover up, but it allows me to get down the shape of my halo eye before I actually start it. So that is all I am doing as I talk to you guys. So we have been living in this house that we bought, a little over a year now. I think it's been a little over a year. So when we moved in, we knew right away that there was some tree work that needed to be taken care of, specifically that we have some pine trees in our side yard, and pine trees aren't yard trees. Like, they're just not good. They need to grow where they can be more stable, and they need to grow in like a circular ring motion, and ours are just in a line. And so last winter when we were here, we did lose a few like pine tree branches. So that kind of concerned us too. And so, we wanted to, I guess, get the lead out and get some of these trees taken care of. So anyway, that's why I've been filming so much, is because we're finally like in the process of, working with a tree company and getting things ready to start having them removed. Now there's been some back and forth because they're short staffed, and I understand that, like, I feel like a lot of places are short staffed and my heart goes out to them, but it has been a little bit frustrating. Just there's been some lack of communication, but they're one of the few tree companies that are insured. So I have dipped into the darker orange shade, which is Centaur. I'm going to start the actual halo eye shape. But anyway, so we want to continue to go with them because, like I said, they're one of the few tree companies in our area that are actually insured, and that's like a big thing for us because you're dealing with like heavy machinery, heavy equipment and all of that. Like, I just want to make sure that they are insured in case something happens to our house or to the neighbor's house. I still feel like I'm really bright, so I do apologize for that, but either way, so we were supposed to have the tree people come and remove these trees at the beginning of October. So I like had a ton of stuff pre-filmed and everything, and I've just continued to keep filming, like try to keep on top of things. So I already have some of like my November content filmed, and I think today is October 19th when I'm filming this. So yeah, I've already got some of my November content filmed. But I just wanted to kind of bring this up about the tree people to you guys because so we have a set date now. Obviously, it didn't happen at the beginning of October. but they have given us a soft estimate date of they'll be out here on October 26th, which is great. That would be like a week from today. So if that's the case, they said that our particular job could take up to 2 weeks to get everything done. So I don't know if I will have that much content filmed by the time they start this process. And so there might be just like a lapse in content for like a week, maybe 2 weeks. And so if that were to happen, then I do apologize. Like that's, I really wanted to not have like a lapse in content. It was really important to me to get a bunch of stuff pre-filmed. So, and like I said, sorry, I got like a little bit of a frog in my throat. Like I said, I might still be able to successfully get everything done, like pre-filmed. I'm trying to get all of my content filmed up to the 3rd week of November, just so that, like I said, that should fit with their time frame of like they're coming in last week of October and, taking like 2 weeks. Like that would give me enough time to play catch up and you guys wouldn't miss a beat. So I just wanted to put that out there just for 2 reasons, in case you're like, Haley, why do you film so much stuff on like one night? And then 2, just in case I do have to miss some things. So, and I know you guys are more than understanding of that. Like, life comes first. We can't help that. We can try to plan around it and do the best that we can, but it doesn't always work that way. Okay, so I turned the brightness down just a bit more, and I feel like that's a lot better. So I do apologize. I'm still like obviously struggling with like what looks good, and I try to make notes for myself, like, hey, remember these were the settings that you had, but I have lost my piece of paper that had all that on it. So anyway, I'm still just taking that orange shade, and it's a really pretty shade. These mattes from this Unearthly palette blend really nicely, super pigmented, and the shimmers in here are that like bam in your face, like punchy kind of shimmer shades. I don't think I mentioned it, but I'm going back and forth to do my crease work with the Blend Bunny B1 and then the Rephr 13 brush, I think it is. Yeah, the 13. So anyway, I've owned like 2 Unearthly palettes. I had this one, the Lore, and then I also had the Witching Hour, it was a really fun color story. Like they had a lot of nice like bright matte shades, and the matte shades in there were fine. Like those performed nicely. They were on par with like what I'm getting from the Lore palette. But the shimmer shadows within that palette, the Witching Hour palette, they never performed quite like I wanted them to. And I've said this before, I am very much a like, I want bam in your face punchy shimmer shades. I'm going to take a B3 brush from Blend Bunny and dip into the shade Minotaur, which is the purple shade, to deepen up this oranginess. So anyway, I really like a very impactful punchy shimmer shadow. And you don't always get that with brands, and I felt like I didn't get that with the Witching Hour palette. And I get it, not everyone wants like a very impactful shimmer shade, but I do. So I just wanted to put that out there in case Unearthly is a brand that you've been eyeing and you've been thinking about the Witching Hour palette, but you have similar taste to me and you want those very like in your face shimmer shades. I wouldn't recommend that one because you are not going to get that from that palette. Oh, orange and purple is such a pretty color combination, and especially for like the fall time. So I just cleaned off my Rephr 13 brush, and I'm just using that with the purple shadow because I used that as well with the orange shadow. So kind of got the life update out of the way. It wasn't like all that exciting, and it's not like, at the end of the day, like it's not really all that bad, but I just wanted to let you guys in on it. So anyway, I thought that I could ask this question here because I'm assuming if you are here watching this video that you enjoy getting eyeshadow content, like looks specifically, not just like talking about said palettes. So I really enjoy filming eye looks. I think that they're a lot of fun. I just wanted to know, like, do you guys like this kind of content where it's like 1 to 2 looks per palette? Or should we do, I'm just looking for my brush so that I can get I need to re-intensify some of that orange that I lost. But anyway, so do you like this, what I've been doing, where it's like 1 to 2 looks with a palette? Like, or would you prefer if maybe monthly we did more of like take a palette and do 4 to 7 looks with it? And I say 4 to 7 because I have some larger palettes like the Carnival 4 palette from Be Perfect. And so that one, if I were to do some looks with that palette, I would really want to do 7 looks with it because there's so many shades in there. But then I also have smaller palettes, like we'll say the Natasha Denona Retro is another good like fall-esque palette that we have, or that I have. So that one is smaller. I don't, like, I could do 7 looks with it, but I want my looks to be like different and like a good variety and have a good mix of like fun outside the box looks and more play it safe looks. So either way, since the Retro is smaller, I would probably only do 4 looks with that. I think those could be some fun videos. I would probably only do 1 palette a month that way, like 4 to 7 eye looks, maybe potentially do 2 palettes. But I was just curious to see what your thoughts were. So, you know, do you like this or do you want to switch to that and have more of like a longer dedicated monthly eyeshadow video where it's like 1 palette, tutorials, things like that? And then 2, like, what would be the best way to go about deciding on a palette? Like, should we do like a community poll, or should I just tell you some palettes that are in my mind and like you can sound off in the comments? Like, I don't really know how to go about it. I just want to make like the content that I put out stuff that you guys want to see. Like, I obviously enjoy filming these types of looks or I wouldn't be doing them, or these types of videos, but I also want to make sure that it's the kind of videos that you want to see. So I'm going to do a fade because I forgot to grab my concealer to do my halo eye. Alright, so I just grabbed my Rare Beauty concealer. I love that as an actual like concealer, but I also think that it works really well for doing these halo eyes. I think I said this in another video where we did a halo eye. I am a big fan of the NYX glitter glue. I think that that is an amazing product to use to make your shimmers pop. However, for whatever reason, when I use the NYX glitter glue to do a halo eye, I always feel like the matte shadows get a little, I don't know, cakey looking, I guess is a good way to describe it. Like, they just start to look a little off, you know? So I'm going to quickly swatch out Serpent and Sphinx, which are the top 2 pinky shimmer shades in the palette. I think we might go, ooh, it's always hard to tell. I think we might go with Sphinx, which is like the darker pinky shade. That, I think, is what we're going to do on the center of our lid. You know, I said we're going to use Sphinx, the darker pink shimmer, and then I just dipped my brush into Serpent. So I guess that's what we're going with, is taking Serpent on a fluffy brush. This is from ColourPop. This is the E18. And we're just going to start dabbing that all over this concealer. Oh, that is such a pretty, like, shimmery pink. It's a little bit more transparent, so I did go in with, like, 2 layers to really build it up to what I wanted to. I think it would be like a really pretty topper shade. I have not yet tried it that way. But anyway, I'm just going to go back over some of this orangeness that we've lost. Kind of stamp it onto, you know, the edges of the pink shadow. And I did bring the pink shadow all the way up. I didn't do like a more closed off halo eye. And then I'm going to deepen everything back up with the purple. So if we were to vote now, like if you want the video where it's like 1 palette, 7 looks though, that's just what we're going to call it. It might be 4 looks, but you get my point. So some of the palettes that I have in mind as we sit here right now would be the, you know, we're in the fall season. So I think that the Be Perfect Carnival 4 palette would be a really fun one to do. That palette, like I said, is so large, so that would be a 7 looks video. We could also do retro. I love retro for all year round from Natasha Denona, but I think a lot of people would love those berry tones like in the fall, so we could also do that. That would probably be 4 looks. I also have the, you know, one that I really love is I was lucky enough to find some of the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shop eyeshadow palettes at like TJ Maxx and things like that. But then I was able to find the ones that I was missing from Bakerie, and they weren't jacked up like the prices like some people are doing. So I do have the whole Sweet Shop collection from BH Cosmetics. I think it would be fun to maybe do like an eye look with each one of those palettes, and then maybe 1 to 2 looks like combining them. That could be fun. I'm trying to think of some more of my like fall-esque palettes. Like, even though I'm a person where I think you just wear whatever you want to wear whenever you want to wear it, I do like that some colors just really inspire me for the fall season. So those would kind of be the palettes that come to mind, you know, as we sit here right now that we could do. All right, so I did put some black eyeliner on this eye. My brain. I'm going to dip back into the Minotaur shade, which is like the purpley shade, and just do my whole like lash line with this. So I'm sitting here and I was trying to think of like other palettes where it's like, oh, that would be really pretty. I did do a video where it was like my favorite like fall themed eyeshadow palettes, like eyeshadow palettes that I really want to reach for as we're in this fall season. So I will leave that linked down below, and you could go and check out that video. And I would say any eyeshadow palette from that video would be fair game to do like a longer dedicated looks video with. So I do apologize that this has kind of been all over the place. It was a little bit impromptu. Like, I had down to like that I wanted to sit down and film this video, but I didn't have like in my head that I was gonna do this more as like a chatty, like, get ready with me, we'll say. So I do apologize if it seems to have been a little bit all over the place, like less focused on the eye look, but I've done other videos where I like go a little bit more in depth into like my personal technique for doing a halo eye. So, you know, I think adding the chattiness to this is okay, right? So for an inner corner highlight, I'm going to take the shade Griffin, which is, it's this really interesting, I think it might be a little too dark. Sphinx might be better. We might layer Sphinx on, or I'm sorry, Serpent on top of Griffin. But Griffin is a really pretty gold to pink shade. So yeah, I'm going to try to build this up in my inner corner and see how we feel about it. Alright, so it is a little too dark for my personal preference on what I would want for an inner corner. So I am going to take this Serpent shade, which was the shade that we used as the center shade. And I'm just going to top that off on top of it, and hopefully it saves the day. Alright, I think that did a fairly fine job of like saving the day. So I didn't pick up any additional product, but this is just the B1 brush that we were using with the orange shadow. And I'm going to try to like just kind of finesse this outer corner a little bit more, just to kind of connect the lower lash line to up here. Okay, I think I went a little too ham with blending, and so my lower lash line looks a little weird. Also, I feel like a look never looks right when you just do one eye. So I'm going to jump off camera, finish up this eye, add some mascara, do a lip color, and I'll be back to wrap this video up with you guys. Alright, so zoomed out, final eye look done. How do we feel about it? I have just fallen in love with doing halo eyes. So, to round off the look, I did, like I said, put on a black eyeliner. So this is the LA Girl Glide On eyeliner in the shade Very Black. Used my r.e.m. Beauty. This is the Lengthening Mascara. Haha, I knew the name, I just had to still look at the label. But it's in the shade Midnight Black. And then for lips, my lip liner is from ColourPop. It's in the shade BFF. I used the Bite Beauty Lippie in the shade Pink Paloma, and then just topped it off with a pinky nude lip gloss, which unfortunately happens to come from Jeffree Star, but it's in the shade Mouthful. So that is everything. I will leave in the description box the other like makeup that I have on my face, just in case you are curious and you want to know what it is. But I had a lot of fun playing around with the Lore palette. I hope that you guys enjoyed this eye look. I think the next one, the final like spooky themed eye look that we will do, we'll be using the Juvia's Place, the Festival palette. So hopefully you're excited for that. But like I said, I appreciate you being here and making it till the end. I hope you're having a good day, a good night, or a good whatever. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.